Okay, first one on this standard. It asks which ordered pairs are points on the graphs of the linear equations. So let's take a look first at what the ordered pairs are. So if I go to 20 on X and down 29.5, I'm going to be going down. I'm not going to be going up. So B and C are definitely wrong. So now let's look at what A and D have to offer. So notice that it's pretty close on the slope. So to go over 22 and down negative 32, those are pretty close numbers. But then when I look at D, I have numbers that are like over 2 and up a half. Notice that's a big difference. Or let's say go to the negative 7 and up 5. Those are kind of big differences. But then if I look at A, I go over 2 and I go down to like 2.2. Pretty close. So as you can see, those are the kind of numbers that we're looking at here. The other way to do this would be to write an equation. So I can look at this one and I can see that my slope is between those 2 points. So I go down 1, 2, 3, down 3 to the right 2. So my slope is negative 3 over 2. And then let's go ahead and find the y-intercept. It's not a nice, neat, perfect one. So we are going to have to substitute. So picking a point. Now I'm going to go ahead and pick the coordinate 1, negative 1. So x is 1, y is negative 1. So negative 1 equals negative 3 halves times 1 plus b. So negative 3 halves times 1 is negative 3 halves. So I'm going to add 3 halves to both sides, which is basically taking 1 whole away, which gives me a half. So my equation for this one is y equals negative 3 halves x plus 1 half. So let's see if it works for any of these coordinates. So x is 20, so then get out my handy dandy calculator. I'm going to do 20 times negative 3 divided by 2 gives me negative 30. Negative 30 plus 0.5 or a half gives me negative 29.5. So first one works. Let's look at the second one, because you always check all three just to make sure, even if we feel confident. So number 2, so x is 21 times negative 3 over 2. 3 divided by 2. And then add 1 half gives me negative 31. So the second one is correct. Don't give up now, because you never know if that third point will be wrong, even though it shouldn't be. So then I have 3 over 2 times 22, negative, of course, don't forget for the negative 3 over 2, plus 0.5, negative 32.5. Perfect. So A is the correct answer. The other way you could have done this is just found the slope of the 2 points. If I found the slope of 22 and negative 32.5 and 20 negative 29.5, I would have found that that also would have been negative 3 over 2. So then I would have known that they had the same slope, which is different than D slope. Okay, the next one's a little bit easier. This one, this person thinks that they are right because they're a doctor, and that the point 1x is included on that equation. So I will tell you the equation of the line, don't forget, is x and y for the coordinate, and you just substitute it in. 17 times 1 plus 1, and then does that equal 8? Of course not. 17 times 1 is 17, plus 1 is 18. 18 does not equal, or 8 does not equal 18, so he is definitely wrong. Okay, you talk on the phone Y minutes on day X of every month according to this equation. The cell phone company claims you talk 12 minutes on the phone on the 4th day. So the day is X and Y is 12. So they want to know if they're right. So let's find out how many, since everything's talking about the 4th, let's see how many minutes you would talk on the 4th day. So Y equals 2 times 4 plus 1. Well, 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So Y equals 9. So you would talk for 9 minutes on the 4th day of the month. So they are wrong. You talked for only 9 minutes on the 4th day of the month. Number 4, the speed of the snowboarder from uphill to downhill can be modeled using this equation, where X is in minutes. The snowboarder's speed at time 0 is 1 and is 2 at time 1. So don't forget that X is the time in minutes. So time 0, so we put it in, Y equals 0 squared plus 1, which is 1, and is 2 at time 1. So Y equals 1 squared plus 1, which is 2. So those two are correct. So another way you could have approached this problem was looking at the x squared. Don't forget, to be linear, you would have to have only had an x, no exponent. Don't forget, with a square, that also means it's always quadratic. So this one would be no, because the equation is not linear. Number 5, which point is not on the graph represented here? So we're just going to go ahead and substitute them in. So negative 4 times negative 4 is 16, and it's a negative in front of it. And negative 4 times negative 2 is 8 plus 8, and that does equal 0. So first one is correct. Number 2, negative 1 times negative 1 is 1 with a negative sign. Negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2. And then I have plus 8. And 8, 9, 10, 9, which is correct. Then I have 2. 2 times 2 is 4, with a negative in front. Minus 2 times 2 is negative 4, plus 8. Negative 4 is negative 8. Negative 8 plus 8 is 0. So that one is correct. And so we're going to look at one last one. I have 4 times 4 is 16 with the negative sign in front. And then negative 2 times 4 is negative 8 plus 8. And negative 6, all this is going to wind up equaling negative 16. So D is wrong.